Hello and welcome to another episode. And today is my attempt at being a little more inflammatory here. 5 reasons why Notion is actually horrible with teams. You're going to find out my top 5 reasons has to do with views and hierarchy, missing major features, not working well for teams, and a couple more, which I'm going to hide lest you see them too soon. If you're wondering who I am, I'm Jed. I'm the founder of Hydrant. Our project managers put out the fires so your team can execute with ease. And we are big fans of ClickUp. And, we like other platforms too. Um, I've been running projects for more than 15 years in a variety of different contexts, and we're popular on Upwork and have plenty of enterprise clients too. All right, let's get into it. So, first, Notion is super popular, and I can see why. Like, it's beautiful. It's just from a UI standpoint, it is really great. Like the search has this slick window here. It's got AI integrated everywhere. It's got this kind of like, I don't know, Art Deco clicky, what's the thing? Paperclip from Clippy from Microsoft. It's like a little reminiscent of that, but in like somehow a cute, modern, chic way. It's got lots of like icons and muted colors, and it's like Mac first. So that's cool. It is beautiful. I really like it. And I've played around it before, and I've had um, you know, I often get asked why do we like one more than another. So let's go back to our 5 reasons. One, the views and hierarchy. So when you load up a new instance, it has team spaces, which is great, similar to how a ClickUp does. And you can add new ones and add icons and all of that kind of thing. But when you load an instance, um, you have tasks, projects, sprint boards, sprints, and obviously you can customize it. But like when you load in a new template, for instance, or a new page, like it's text focused. So as a platform, I think of Notion as primarily like a note taking or like a brain dump or a wiki kind of tool, which is very good for that. But here's like an instance. Clay is an amazing platform. They have this CRM template in Notion. It's really cool. It has their branding and everything. But if you want to access their CRM, like you've got to go in and click again. Now we're in the CRM. And you could like star it or something like that. That's cool. It's just, I don't know, it feels a little clunky to me, I guess, where it requires a lot of clicking and you really have to have a pretty clear understanding of where you've put things, which is great for an individual, but a lot harder for a team. So again, it's really good for a wiki, I think. It's again very pretty. The docs, kind of like come out nicely. It's got some templates. Um, from that standpoint, I really do like it. You can always add in, basic features like comments, suggestions, etc. They're really good. But this kind of takes us to, kind of the next level here, which is missing some major features. So like time tracking is a really important feature, especially if you're like an agency or you're focused around P&L. Analytics is another thing where, you know, you can get some things and you can kind of like slice and dice and that sort of thing. You can do advanced filters, but it's like it's not really a native tool. It's not focused around data in terms of like numbers. I guess it's more focused around docs, words, and really it's more of a relational database for notes. And this could be like full caveat. Like I'm not a Notion expert. I've used it a few times. I've tried to click around with it. It just doesn't really work for me in terms of like a hierarchy. It doesn't make sense. I think it's great for notes. It's great for individuals. Um, but there's, again, like they've tried to get a lot better around how do you actually manage projects, which is where I'm more focused around project management. And it's like tricky. Like, what is this projects board? To me, this is like a more of like a PMO board. It's like looking at our different projects and like, why can't I click into the project? Like I'm double clicking on it. I don't know. Like, how do I get to it? You know, if I actually want to get to it, I got to go into tasks and, they're organized by project here. And the reality is like this works. I think this works well for really simple projects, really simple workflows where well, it's kind of like Monday where, maybe a project only has 10 tasks or something like that. But if, you want to see like a Gantt chart for a project with a lot of, and you can add sub items and things like that. Like they've added functionality, to where you can hack it. You can even have dependencies now, although, geez, am I struggling to get it to work? But I know I was playing with it. Maybe it's because of. Anyways, I know you can do dependencies. I don't know why I can't make it work right now, but like you do have a timeline view. You can show other views now. They've tried to create it to where you can run a sprint on this. Then you have like a Kanban style board, which is cool. But again, it's just I don't know. It's not working for me. I like the deeper complexity tasks. I like being able to um, like really. I just feel lost here. Like I don't know what I'm looking at. Um, I'm used to seeing like okay, let's go back to all tasks or by project. It's like more of a Monday style view. Um, like where's the task? I'm just seeing this like table, but like I would always track time to a task or like start date, end date, or like okay, I want to add in new things here, but like I got to do it here and like add a phone number, cool. But it's here. It's not like in like where's the task? You know what I'm saying? Like in ClickUp, this is my task. I've got the activity on the right. I got the task here. I got subtasks. I got action items, tech checklist. Got key fields here. We can add as many fields as we want into the details. So like it just doesn't work as well for me. Analytics is a big piece. The dashboards, like I feel like there is some of that functionality here, but I'm like, where is it? Why is it so hard to find? If I'm doing a project, like this is the project management base instance that I just loaded in, like where's a basic analytics page? I guess that's probably like what this is supposed to be, but I guess, but it's not nearly the same as some of the analytics and more robust features that I would expect in a project management system. Um, okay, so yeah, that kind of covers point three is like it just doesn't work for projects of complexity. Like ClickUp actually does. Like if you have a project of say 1,000 tasks with a critical path that follows through those tasks, maybe it's an 18-month project, start date and end date, dependencies on every task. Like you can map out a critical path and you can follow through it and you can slice and dice it a million ways with very similar functionality to say Smartsheet or something like that. Um, whereas with Notion, like good luck. Like you can do it again, you could do it, but it's tricky and you're not going to be able to slice and dice it all the ways that you want to. Next is automations, integrations, and API capabilities. So, um, there is some basic automations you can do. They do have some connections, like you can load these different connections. Um, Slack, Google Drive, Jira. I always think it's so funny. Like, why would you need to connect to Jira? Like, why? Like, Jira and Confluence does like everything that you could possibly need to do. Why would you need to connect into Notion? Um, Again, I guess it's just well, I'll leave that aside. But uh, so there are connections. You can do stuff here, um, but a lot of it is like you got to load it in, and you've got to really try. Like it's so funny, bring ClickUp tasks into Notion. Um, it just makes me laugh. I guess it's like if you're migrating, that's cool. That makes sense. But you're not going to get some of that like really quick out of the box stuff. Where like if you want to set up an automation where a due date shows up, it sends an email with certain amount of information. You're not going to be able to set that up. So let's move on. We've never actually used the API for Notion. I'll be honest, like it's not something I've done before. But again, I think it's like why would you? Like what's the value of that? And especially when you consider that it's so hard to work together as a team on Notion. So I don't know. It just also how do I get out of this? Like, uh, oh, had a pop up. Okay, so I think that's the other, like one of the biggest weaknesses here. It's just, it's hard to organize around teams. And I think they've tried to make it easier, but it's just like in terms of the hierarchy, it's really, it feels confusing to me. Um, because normally we might have a view for a single project, but again, like, and maybe it's just like I need to have a different task for each one, have a different board for each one of these tasks, and each one is a project, and then you put them in a folder or something like that. Um, but again, it just comes off as a little confusing to me. The last thing that I would say is exporting your data. So, like, if you ever want to leave Notion, good luck. I was asked to do it for a client. We tried to get them off of Notion, and it was like 3 weeks of going back and forth with Notion support on a click ticket to try and be able to export the data. If you ever want to export this, like, good luck. You're going to have a really hard time. Um, you can export current view, everything as a CSV, and I should try and pull it up. Let's see if I can do it really quick. So this is how it showed up. Um, you know, this isn't the end of the world. What we had to export was docs, and the way that our client had set it up was just the way that Notion wants you to. Like it was a labyrinth, like it was a spider web of a wiki and different docs, and every page had different permissions and things like that. I feel like Notion really empowers that philosophy of like just jump in, go for it, create a bunch of docs, create a bunch of chaos. Like it's all going to work out. Search is really powerful, so you can always find things. But when you're trying to systematize, which is what teams do, you systematize workflows and you make it to where a new team member can show up and you onboard them quickly. The work that they need to do, the information they need to get and consume is really quick and easy, right? But if you're just in chaos land through a relational database of scattered sheets, you're kind of in that position of A Beautiful Mind, which is a great movie, by the way, and you should watch it. It's awesome. But there's this horrible scene in the end where you realize he's dealing with this schizophrenia, and you kind of see inside his mind, and then you see like what other people see in his shed, and there's just like chaos. And so I feel like Notion kind of is like that. It's a little bit of an enabler in that sense, which I think is really hard for teams. It's great for solopreneurs. It's great if you have tons of ideas and you want to spend your time just like jotting down ideas. But which is awesome, like that has a lot of value. I'm not trying to belittle that, but um, it doesn't work as well for teams who are trying to organize around workflows. So again, exporting your data, like if you want to move to another system, if you want to save it, like honestly, like this is why I love Microsoft Word. Like I save as a docx, and guess what? Like everyone can consume that document type, and it's really easy to move around. That's why basically every legal contract in America is still using Microsoft Word. So for contracts and whatever, because everyone can use it, it's easy to pass around. But with Notion, that's really tricky. So there's another great product that a lot of people love, which is Obsidian. This is another relational database. There's Evernote, used to be really popular, where really easy to search, really easy to kind of like merge around ideas. And especially you start to, like I do think it is cool about some of these tools is that you can, sorry, I'm struggling. My mouse died. If we had a video editor, we would edit that out, but that's all right. So anyways, I think Obsidian can be a great choice for people. Notion is great. Like I think, again, if you're a solopreneur, it's a really powerful tool. But if you're trying to do project management where you're working around multiple like workflows or a longer term project, you're better off using something like ClickUp, where you're going to be able to really more fundamentally track a project. Like it's more built for that. So hopefully this is helpful. Hopefully this doesn't just come off as like I hate Notion. I actually think Notion can be great. Like if I were a full time writer, I might consider using Notion. But even then, maybe I'm old school. I kind of like using Microsoft Word for that and just storing the files on my computer. So anyways, thanks for listening. And hopefully you get some value. And if you think I'm wrong about something, I would love to hear it. I'm sure I am. Thanks so much. Bye.